Jack's my homie. Don't worry about it.
So.
Oh, man. Should I go crazy? Like guys on the internet?
That's right.
Oh, but they, like, hey, we're going to bring you a better thing. Oh. I want my money back,
Welcome to the Deadzone podcast. Deadzone is the sci-fi tabletop miniature skirmish game from Mantic Games. And now, here are your hosts Rob Harper and Jack Fike. I am your announcer, William Randolph Wintergreen.
Welcome to the 46th episode of Deadzone the podcast for December 2015. In this episode, we discuss the Deadzone Redux public beta with Coach from Family of Gamers 777, and as always, you can go to deadzonegame.podbean.com to see all the pictures, or you can go to youtube.com/c/Deadzone the podcast for the video version of the show. Now on to the episode. Welcome to Deadzone episode 46. In this one, we have a star-studded occasion here with Jack.
Hi, I'm Jack.
And our guest, Coach from Family Gamer 777.
What's up, y'all?
We're having a good time. We're going to be talking about some Deadzone Redux. But first, we have some news to talk about. And that, of course, is the Mantic announced that for the Infestation miniatures, they're going to be changing from metal to metal or resin into their game plastic. But it's more like the dust or Cool Mini or Knots plastics, which they're fine. And they're going to be changing things from the metal, which I hate metal miniatures, so that's great, and the resin, which Jack obviously hates since he breaks it every time I let him touch him.
It's very fragile. It is very, very fragile.
Well, if they're going to go to the hard plastic, as far as, let's say, metal, I got some of their Kings of War stuff, and I have the Dwarf Pikemen. And those, I can already see, I haven't painted them up yet, but I'm going to see them breaking. And then just by having, some resin models, when you have the thin fiddly bits that stick out, they always break. They just always break. So if it's a hard plastic and it's a little bit more durable, because my meat hooks are going to probably knock them off the table, I'm all for it, man. And the metal miniatures, metal was awesome in the 80s, but now it's just terrible.
Yeah, I have Ronaldo the Bard from the Kickstarter, from the King's War Kickstarter. I broke him, I don't know how many times. He was metal and he just kept snapping things off him.
Eric actually gave me one. He ordered a few because he did the Kickstarter, and he handed it to me, and I said, "Oh well, thank you." And I broke the that feather on top, came right off.
Yep, that broke, and I broke the top of his guitar off too.
Oh, jeez.
And most
yes.
How is Eric and his hair?
Eric is doing well. He's doing well. Exfoliating tonight, so because it is Wednesday.
Oh, I thought that was maybe the cucumber scrub with the face mask and the. But okay, well, keep me posted.
Yeah, on Family Gamers, we're going to do a whole follicle video set. So stay tuned.
Nice. We can look forward to that.
Yeah.
So these the plastic miniatures they're switching to go back to this is they're being made by Dust Studios, who obviously we love. We love Dust miniatures, and they're the same people who did the Dungeon Saga miniatures. So. But they're going to be in multiple pieces, and you can build them yourself, which is, you always want the variety for that. So they're good quality plastic, at least. Like, people are complaining about how the quality's going to be because they assume they're going to be, I don't know, just pieces of plastic, I guess. But
if it's going to be like a nice hard plastic with good, better quality, we're going to give you better quality, good plastic, and it's going to work better. I'm all for it, man. The more stuff like that, the better. And as long as it's not the Restic.
Jack likes the Restic, but yeah, we've already discussed, we lost a recording already where we talked about how you hate the mold lines in the Restic.
Oh my God. When you go to the 9th plane of hell, that's what he makes you do, is take the mold lines off a Restic. It's just terrible, man.
But these new miniatures are going to be done by Dust Studios, which is obviously Dust Tactics, and they also did the Dungeon Saga miniatures. And I found the Dungeon Saga ones were great quality, and I obviously love the Dust ones. And they are a little, like the plastic, I have some Dust miniatures right in front of me, and it's a little more bendy plastic, so obviously you drop it, it's not going to hurt it at all. But the detail on them is amazing. Like, it's just as good detail, if not better than regular Deadzone miniatures, so I don't think we have to worry about it. But that didn't make people not complain about it on the internet, right?
Well, it depends on who you're talking to. But so it's not a hard plastic. It's a little got a little give to it.
Yeah, it's got a little give to it.
So that means that when you paint it, you got to put a few extra coats of clear coat on it because if it's a little bendy. It's going to crack crack your.
It's not that bendy though. It's like you wouldn't bend it enough to like. I don't think to crack things. It's just soft enough that if you drop it, I think if you purposely bent something, you could crack the paint. But that's probably true of any plastic.
Yeah, well, yeah. But yeah, so, another coat of shellac will make that good.
Like Jack, you've painted tons of the dust stuff. Have you ever? You've never had any cracking or anything issues, have you?
I'm happy with the dust stuff. We had the starter box set. We bought that. You bought that as a precursor to Deadzone because we wanted to get back into miniature gaming, and I painted a bunch of the Axis, and I was happy. They're basically Enforcer armor.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Anyways, like so, if that's the quality, if that's the material, and that's the level of detail we'll get, I'll be happy.
Yeah, for sure.
And Rob, when you say dust, is that the? I know that you bought like 60 walkers and stuff. Is that the same thing?
Yes, that's all from the what is it? Black Friday deals. There was quite a few dust.
I know you got what I'm saying is I know you got a bunch of them, so you could really give us.
Well, the walkers and stuff is all hard plastic.
Right.
The walkers, they're hard. It's just the miniatures themselves that are the little softer stuff.
Okay, but they, like you said, the detail and the quality is excellent, so we should have nothing to worry about.
Yep. Go to falleninfantry.wordpress.com and you can see some unboxing that I did of these dust minis. You can see I took detailed pictures of them, so you can see the quality that hopefully we'll be getting. And so there's the miniatures that are going to be switched out are things like the Piper, which is the rat with the rat swarm. Who looked the concept pictures of that looked great.
Doesn't he look like a Jamaican guy with the dreadlocks?
He does have some dreads going on there.
Yeah.
And then the Brood Mother, which is a disturbing miniature, but they said that I think they were going to make that one in metal, and they said it would have weighed a ton. Mm-hmm. And Night Terrors and the Progenitors, we were supposed to get one Progenitor, now we're getting two because they're in plastic, and that's you can't complain about getting extra minis.
No, absolutely not. I like people were complaining about well we originally wanted metal and resin and whatnot, but Mantic said all right we're going to make a better product with a better better material, and because we promised you one thing, we're going to give you another, extra stuff. I don't see the logic in going and raging over that, but I'm all for that, man. Give us more stuff and better stuff. Oh, it's not a problem. And also, the name I can't remember it, but it's the one. It was a stretch goal that we got, and it's kind of like a bed with the 6 rats, and they're all connected by a tail.
Oh yeah, the Tangle or whatever it is.
Yeah, that was supposed to be in metal, and they said that was going to be like too heavy, so that if they're making it in plastic, so it's better. And that's actually a really cool mini. It was in the short story that they put out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a psychic. It's psychic rats that are born once every so often, and they can tell the future and stuff. It's very cool. I hope it translates in the game that way. But that thing is huge. So if they could make that out of hard plastic, that's going to be phenomenal.
Yep. And also the heavy weapon thrower and crew is going to be into this plastic instead. That would have been a heavy in resin. Mm-hmm. And the Plague Aberration, which I think is going to end up being bigger than the Stage 1. So we don't want any heavier than the Stage 1.
Right.
And then Blaine on a jet bike, which is always good.
Yeah, he looks great.
we do concept pictures. You can go on deadzonegame.podbean.com to check out the pictures. And we do have some pictures of Blaine on the jet bike, and we also have the pictures of the Enforcer Forward Observer guy. And he's looking very Spartan Halo armor like, but he's cool.
Yeah, he looks great, man. He's like what they call him, the Forward Observer. I'm really other than the model. What's the rules on this guy? That's what I'm really hoping to see soon.
Yeah, he's hopefully almost like a Peacekeeper version of a Pathfinder, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And so how's that sound? We'll go to a quick commercial break for Mantic, and we'll be right back.
You have been listening to the Deadzone podcast with your hosts Jack Fike and Rob Harper. The Deadzone podcast is dedicated to Deadzone, the tabletop miniature game by Mantic Games. Visit them at manticgames.com.
Hey, this is Community Pat, and you are listening to Deadzone, the podcast.
And welcome back to the Deadzone podcast. And with us, our guest today is Coach from Family Gamers 777. And Rob, what is next on the agenda?
We'll be talking about Deadzone Redux. The beta is finally out. We've been waiting a long time for this beta. And the 2 weeks that they predicted 4 months ago has finally happened. And we have the beta. We've had the beta. All three of us have had the beta for a while. Coach has had it for much longer than us, but so we all kind of know the history of the beta more than I think most people understand. We've seen the changes happen a bit more. So we'll go through everything, and if you want a detailed talk about these changes, go to Family Gamer 777. Coach, you've done 3 videos on the beta.
Yes, this is we're calling it Deadzone December. So I did the overview of the rules, the abilities, the items. I'm currently editing all the faction breakdowns, and then we're going to do a bunch of, I think, in a few days, we're going to get about 6 to 8 games in, and we're just going to record it and go through it and work the beta out. And then I want to do it as from beta to alpha, what's in between and what we like and what we didn't like. And, our channel is just all about us, our traveling and wargaming. Come on along and, hang out with us. So, this is what we're going to be working on now, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. And like I said, last time we talked, doing the channel is just an extension of the hobby for me. I love the editing, and I love doing it like you guys do the podcast. And it's just, I'm so psyched to get this stuff going.
Yeah, it's great. We do enjoy your channel. As Jack was saying, we get a lot of tips. I know I used your idea for the magnetic paint. I love that stuff.
Oh, the stuff is great.
Oh yeah, I magnetized a lot of my Kings of War bases with it.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing too. I'm doing the exact same thing.
Yep, it's great stuff. So we'll get into Deadzone Redux a bit here. So there's been quite a few changes to Deadzone in this thing, and a lot of it is all the cards are gone now, right? Yeah, there's no cards at all anymore.
Right.
Which caused a little bit of a hubbub, people complaining that, I have all these cards I don't get to use anymore. Which, whatever. And
that was my question at Adepticon. I asked Ronnie. I heard that the command and stat cards are going to be gone. Is this a rumor? Or is this true? And he says it's absolutely true.
Yeah, it's not like it's a surprise. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't really a surprise. It's like they're gone. I'm like, man. But we knew this back in March.
Yeah, it's 8 months ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and we've talked about it many times. Jack was pretty pro getting rid of most of the cards, right, Jack?
Yeah, the game's better for it. I think we had discussions of why, what would be the outcome, why would you get rid of the cards, and when it came right down to it, we came to the consensus that the cards gone, and the game's better for it as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there's definitely a lot less clutter on the table, and that's really good. You don't have to worry about keeping track of piles of cards. And they replaced the cards with command dice. And Coach, you wanted to explain exactly what the command dice are for our listeners?
Sure. Well, basically what they did, like we said, is they took out the command cards. And one of the reasons is there's a few cards in there like Steadfast or I haven't even played with the cards in so long, I forgot the names, but Distract, where you would get 1 or 2 distract cards, and then you would distract, like, say, a fighter, or you would distract a sniper, or you distract the leader, and he wouldn't go for 2 or 3 rounds. And then also the dreaded Surge card, you could play that, and then you would get a bunch more cards. So now you'd have 10 cards in your hands, and you'd be able to almost use on every single model, you'd be able to use them. What they did was they replaced that with the command dice, which I in my opinion, I really, really like this new mechanic. And what it is there's a 6-sided dice, which is, Deadzone is 8-sided, so now we're going to 6-sided, and each side of the dice has a different aspect that you can use. So, and they're going to come out with command dice that are going to go, part of our Kickstarter, and you can buy them later on. But even if you don't have them, you just use a six-sided dice.
Yeah, that's
So
the thing I wish they had done in the beta is just number the command. You know how they have them in there? They should put actual numbers in there, so you could just use a regular six-sided dice.
yeah, well, what I've done is I've just I printed up, I blew it up, and I printed it up, and then the top one is 1, 2, 3, and
Yeah.
so forth. And when we
That's
rolled
exactly
it,
what we did too.
we put the dice on
Oh,
on
that's neat
the
too.
things, and then from there we'll use it. So now like if you roll a 1, that's the +1 model activation, which is deadly. So you want to try to get number 1s. The second one is a +1 to any normal test, which I really like that because you can choose to use that for anything, and you can use it several times on the same guy over and over again. There's no limit to it. Now, the next 3 are only used once on that particular model if you have more than one, which is an additional move action, an additional shoot action, or an additional fight action, which is really, really, really good. So if you have somebody with a low fight stat that could really fight, and maybe has an enemy that they didn't finish off, you can use an additional fight action, or a good shooter, use an additional shoot, or just move a guy, give an additional move action, which is nice. The only thing is the additional move action is not a sprint or anything. It's just 1 cube. And then the last one, the 6th one, the Mantic Splat, which is their logo, is going to be a Army Special rule, which every faction has Army-specific cool new rule that they have, depending on which leader you take, that you can use. So I think one of my favorite ones is the Vermin one, where you can activate a model that's already activated. And that's very, very, very powerful. You activate somebody, and then you can kind of do whatever you got to do, and then end it around, move them around, or do something with them. So it's extremely cool. It's a great new mechanic. When something new comes out, you don't know. So I've learned that no matter what comes out, you got to try it and then make your opinion later on. And I really, really like the dice. It helps flow, less clutter. It's quicker. It's just more fun. And what's nice about it is if half of your strike force is still alive, you can re-roll the ones you want. So let's say I have a combat army and I get 3 additional shoots. It's going to do me absolutely no good. So I could re-roll those and hopefully get something better. But the second one you have to keep. So there's flexibility, there's tactics, and it just helps the game flow better. I really love this new command dice mechanic that they put in.
Yeah, and it adds a lot of variety too, because each of your different leaders, they can add new leaders, or all the leaders you can have might have a different splat ability, which is kind of fun.
Right, and also everybody gets 3, and depending on which leader you have, if he's a tactician 201, the tactician 201 adds 201 dice to your command pool. So you're rolling at least maximum 5 or a minimum of 3. So you got to keep them alive, or you lose those 2 dice.
Yeah, for sure. And
Jake in his blog said that if you do kill the leader, you lose those 2 dice, but you do keep your command ability. So even though the leader's dead, you'll still get the splat ability. The armor special ability doesn't go away.
Yeah, that's cool. And Jack especially liked the was it stage 3, Jack, that makes the zombies?
Oh, the plague special ability, using a splat to turn a freshly killed opponent into a zombie who's prone, but he's still a zombie. That was a nice. Like some of them are a little more just mechanics based without the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that one was particularly good.
Yeah, spreading the infection.
Yes,
I love it. I love it. So you kill a guy, you replace him with a zombie, and he comes back and he's part of your strike force,
which is much in the flavor of the plague. It goes along the storylines. It's a nice addition, and for now, like we haven't seen we haven't in the betas seen what all the special characters will be doing, but for just as a basic, just having a type 3 leader, that sounds like it's a really nice. I'm not going to complain. I've used it. It's fun.
Yeah, and it also adds to your strike force. So if you kill 2 guys and you get 2 splats, you don't have to roll for it. It's an automatic thing, and you'll get an additional two, just two warriors on your strike force. So it's just adding to that too. It's crazy. It's when it happens to you, it's terrible. But when you actually roll it and it happens, it's the coolest thing ever. So yeah, that's a great one.
It just so happened, I think, twice, in two times I was playing the Plague, twice I was able to get one zombie per game to come up, and it's still one more person in the middle of the game, just on your strike force. It's powerful, but also part of the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope a lot of new ones will be more flavorful, because some of them are just adding like extra armor or something to people.
Right.
Those ones I'm not as interested in as the more interesting ones.
Yeah, so well, I think one of the older betas had a lot more in it. I don't know why when they came out with this one, there's some that are missing. But like I play the Forge Fathers, and I've been using those, and like I'm not too crazy about one. It's one is you can spend a command dice to repair a vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
but what if you don't take a vehicle? I mean, I don't really take any vehicles. And then the other one's an explosive expert, which you can reroll all the dice for a frag explosion, yours or your opponent's. That's not terrible. That's okay.
Could,
but, could go either way.
Yeah, because you have to reroll all the dice, so it's not like you're rerolling just the misses. So it's it could go either good or really bad again. So
yeah, I mean, if it starts off bad, it can't, roll it again. But then again, it's weird because that counteracts what they were trying to do with all the rerolls and stuff like that. So. That's an oddity, I think.
Yeah, the splats I think they're more rare. Like, the chance to use them is not all the time. You don't always get that chance, so. Because I know one of the, isn't one of the Vermin ones where it protect a Night Stalker or something jumps in front of the Broodmother and, like, it protects the Broodmother, the leader?
Yes.
Like that, how often will that come up? Like, that's a weird situation, that one. But once again, it's theme. There's a lot of theme there. It's just.
Yeah. But
it might not happen very often.
When you're playing the Vermin, then you got to make sure you have a splat ready to go, and then you have to have a one of the little guys in something next to you. So it's almost like a bodyguard in there. So that in there, it's very flavorful and tactics that you have to think of way ahead of the time. So it's actually really cool.
Yeah, that's the kinds I like. The ones that are more flavorful.
And you know what, though? You think about it. If that comes up once and saves the Broodmother, that's huge. That's huge in a game.
Yep.
That's an epic thing that could happen.
Yeah, it's neat. And what's another change that happened? They changed the size determines how many hit points, like how many hits a model can take before dying. Right. That's an interesting change. That allows for a lot bigger things, which is cool.
This was a big controversy because of the example they gave. But so basically, when we were playing the beta, and then you guys had it, everybody had one wound, correct?
And if you're size 2, or if you're size 1, you could take one wound. Yeah.
Right. So now it's back to basically what it was. Everybody has 2 wounds, but if you're size 3,
figures,
yes, which I like. So why did a stage 1 have 2 wounds like everybody else? He should have more. He should be harder to kill. So now he has 3 wounds. And then, the aberration is a size 4, has 4 wounds. But in essence, if you read it, the chart says 1 or more damage, but not more than the model's size. The model is injured. Mark the model with the damage counters equal to the actual damage caused. Then it says more damage than the model's size, the model is killed. Which basically means that if you have the aberration, it's going to take you 5 wounds to kill him.
Yeah. Because
if it's 1 more, it's going to make him super, super survivable. So I like that a lot because he should be hard to kill. He's this monster.
Huge
and
beast.
You know what? He's going to lumber across the field. You're going to take shots at him. Maybe when he gets to you, he'll have 1 wound left, but then he's going to tear you apart.
Yeah, the only issue I have with that now is in the previous betas it was equal to the size, to your size. You only had 1 hit point, say. But I don't know why they just didn't change all the sizes up by 1. So a normal creature is size 2, and then up. That would make it a lot more clear, because that is now. It's like, okay, it's not so cut and dry like it was before, where you have size 1 has 1 wound. Now it's like size 1 has 1. You have to do 2 wounds to it to kill it. they should just make size 2 instead now. Just
But that
increase
might-
the size by 1 for everything.
Yeah, that might be where because of what you could fit in a cube.
Well, then you
So-
just increase the size that you can fit in a cube by double it.
Yeah, double it.
Yeah.
Double it and then cut it in half, right? But
Yeah, because that's what it ends up being, right?
but then now it's oh my god, now I got to figure out 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
You know, it's like and then I'm not playing anymore because it used to be 4 guys, now it's 8 guys. Oh, I'm out.
But yeah, it's size 8. Like that's the.
Correct.
I think that it would be more clear that way. The way it is written now, it's a little less clear. They should just throw out medics and med packs and make it you have 1 hit point. I like that.
Or-
That was so much quicker when everybody was dying after only getting hit once.
Right.
Yes,
We were
yes.
getting games done in like half an hour.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it took longer to set up the game than it did to actually
Yeah.
play the game.
Yeah, for sure.
But maybe if they're coming out with stat lines, very simple. Just put how many wounds somebody has.
Yeah, don't just attach it to something that's already there.
Yeah. So if, size 1 wounds 1, size 2
Mhm.
wounds 2. Just
Or you can have a size 1 with 4 wounds if he's super tough, like he's a
Correct.
hero or
Correct.
something.
correct. So now if he's exactly.
And they did change the. Well, we'll get to that later. Some of the changes that they've made in the. We'll go over the FAQ in a bit,
Okay.
but some of the things that they've cleared up about sizes and things that have changed.
Right.
But okay, what else has changed in the game? The Yugo Igo. Did we talk about that yet? I can't remember.
No, we did not.
Okay, so the new initiative is now that one guy goes and then another guy models back and forth,
Mhm.
and that's a big change from before. And Jack, you had issue with that change a bit. You weren't so clear on.
When we first heard that was going to be the fact, I was wondering how that was going to work out. I kind of liked the way it was. I'm still not sold 100%. We've played a bunch of games. It changes things. It's I think it's the easiest way to address some of the issues that were in the original game without making things too complicated. Again, I would need to play a bunch more before I really put my seal of approval on it. But it's not bad. It's not a bad system. It's just different.
Yeah, I like it a lot. The way it makes it so you have to be more tactical, I think. And Coach, you were saying about how for that one it would make it different from other games.
Well, most of the war games go. It's like my side goes and then your side goes, and I'm going to go and I'm going to take my turn. So if I have a big war game or something like that, or even when Deadzone, you're sitting there just kind of hanging out and you're not doing anything until you're being shot at or hit. So you have to roll. So now what's happening is I'm going, and even with the command dice, maybe you can activate 2 or 3 guys, but now it's I'm going and then you're going. So everybody's involved, and you really got to be more mindful of where everybody is, because in the first iteration of Deadzone, if you would have everybody in cover, hiding, trying to pick up as much cover as possible, knowing that you're going second. Now it's like you have to make sure, even if you go first, that doesn't necessarily mean that even the guys you have hiding are going to be in cover because someone else is going to move. So you have to really be mindful of exactly where everybody is on the board at all times.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also good that you can't move all your models. So I know as an Enforcer player, you used to be able to just move all your guys, and then the Plague guy was stuck always going second because he
Right.
always finished last, right? So this
Yeah,
changes that quite a bit too.
And also, I know the way when I used to make my lists, where I would just kit my guys out knowing that I would get to the maximum amount of points. If I had a 6 command stat, I'm going to make sure I have at least 6 guys to go. And if I win initiative, I'm going. Or even if you play a Plague guy, all my guys are going in the middle turn, so that I can get all my guys done in one shot. It makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
But now you can't do that. You got to think a little bit more that way. It's just a shift of thinking. It's not a bad thing, in my opinion. I just think you're shifting the way you have to think about the game now.
Yep. Other than that, in the changes, a lot of the items and the abilities changed.
Mm-hmm.
And is there any ones you particularly? We won't go over every single one. You did a great video about going over all the items, and then you did another one about the abilities. So
Yes.
go to YouTube at Family of Gamers 777. Check out those. We won't go over every single one, But is there ones you'd like to hit on?
Oh my God, it burns.
Yeah, I thought you might mention that one.
When we spoke the last time on the last time I was on the podcast, we talked about it, and they basically did exactly the way I thought it should be, or the way we were playing it, and they also made it a lot easier. They streamlined it where it's just, you get shot with the gun, and you're going to take a wound, or you're not going to take a wound. You're going to save, but then you're on fire. So now your first thing you do is you have to put out the fire. So now the doubling and tripling has been removed in a lot of places, but here's where it's not taken out. So, if the survival wins, the target puts out the flame and before they do any real damage, and then the model may continue with any remaining actions as normal. So you do kind of waste an action putting out the fire. If the flame wins, which is nice, you got to just do the potential damage at AP1. And then if you double him, you got it, he doesn't put out the fire, the potential damage is there plus at AP3. So, it's a super awesome rule. The only thing is it burns is on all the stuff that it's on is at a close range 2 or 3.
Yeah, really
So
short range.
Yeah, it's not like you have a range 8 weapon that has it burns, so you're going to have to get up close and personal to light somebody on fire. But, I really like the way they did it. It's a lot quicker. It makes sense. And, it's really is a good rule. It's one of my top 3.
It's much clearer now, I think, that's for sure. Before,
Right.
all those ones were very hard to understand what was going on in those descriptions.
Right.
But much
Yeah.
clearer because it states that it fills the cube full of fire.
Mhm.
And now at that point, everyone there has to make the rules, and you could subsequently keep burning for multiple turns. But it's a very simple way of saying, okay, everyone's on fire. Each one will, because by rolling will determine what the effect of that is.
Right.
That cube, everyone in its fire, and it adds a little more power to the weapons that have it burns, but also just simplicity, fast. Yeah, it just speeding things along.
I like the way that this is, because I love this rule, but here it is. Whatever the result of the attack, even if it misses, all of the models in the target cube are set on fire. In reality, the weapon fires great gouts of flame that fill the cube, even the near miss sets things alight. So like I was saying last time, you throw a Molotov cocktail. Watch out, what was that? And it misses you.
Misses you, nothing happens.
Right, but then it's like, it's on fire. Now you're going to deal with the fire. That's really, now we know Blaze Away is gone, but this is kind of a way to blaze away at the cube. So,
Yeah.
That's what Jake was, I think he was saying, where it's going to be in there. You just got to find it. So this is almost, it burns as kind of in a Blaze Away.
Yeah. And Jack, is there any ones that you've come across so far, new versions that you've liked?
My list, there's 2 that I made notes of. The first being the Defender Shield.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's so good.
I'm surprised. Now, we had the beta, the official beta in our hands for probably 8 to 9 minutes before erratas started pouring in.
Mm-hmm.
I thought on that list would be the Defender Shield because as it stands right now, it is a fantastic item. And Coach, I'm sure you have an opinion on it. It is a pretty powerful bit of kit.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. The thing is though, what they did, I think it's really good where it increases, whoever's wearing it increases the value, your armor value by 1, but also the guys behind you or in the cube with you, friendlies, will increase their armor value by 1. But most of the things, other than the revs, but I think that's going to change. I don't think it's going to stay there where it's they can buy it as equipment and they can buy it as the gear, but it is rare. So if in a 200-point game you can only take 2 of them, it is 6 points, so you're going to have to pay extra points for it. But if you're running enforcers or even the revs, you got to free up 12 points and just get 2 of them in there. Doesn't matter who you put it on, just and there's no restriction on it, so you can put it on a sniper, and you can put it on whoever you want. So It is really, I mean, it's fantastic. I think it's one of the best pieces of war gear that's in this book.
And the old version, it used to be it only is from a certain direction. The new one doesn't have a certain direction rule, right? It's anybody in the cube.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the old one was like, okay, if you shoot from the direction that you're, it was the only time it mattered which position your guy was really pointing.
Right.
And that was kind of a weird rule. So it's good that they got rid of that, simplified it.
And also too, in the old rules, it was kind of ambivalent. Where does it work in combat too? You know, is it only for shooting or is it only for combat? When we were playing, we assumed that it was combat because it said the direction. So if you're going to fight the guy, you're going to use your shield and turn towards him. But you know, it was. I'm glad they did it because it was actually that's one of the most striking things in Deadzone now. Like the Defender shield, I really like the model itself. There's no other shield out there in any other war game that looks as cool as this one. So I'm glad
I like how big it is.
Yeah, they gave it its due. And then there's actually two sizes, the Enforcer size and the Peacekeeper size. So it's really, it is really cool.
And what's the second one, Jack? You said you had two?
Jump packs. Jump packs, what used to be kind of again with the flavor, it used to be a movement-based item where you would be able to jump over expanses or move to locations that you normally wouldn't be able to do. Especially the Enforcers all came stock jet jump packs. It gave them mobility that it was interesting, made for a faster game. They've changed that. They've gone. The new jump packs actually only protect from falls.
Yeah, they're like parachutes now.
So they're not jump packs; they're fall packs, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's no jumping anymore. It's just falling.
Yeah, I think they're going to errata that. I think it's going to go back to the old way. Plus this.
Yeah, it should be both. Yeah.
It's going to be a 2-for-1 here. So.
Because it wasn't super powerful. All it did is let you like get over areas. It's like it wasn't powerful before.
You can jump. You can kind of jump up where there wasn't any way to jump. You know, like you could scurry up the wall, and it was also cool where you could like jump across.
Yeah, that's where I used it.
Right,
yeah.
But that was actually it was a long action, but it was getting a guy into good position. That was actually pretty cool. But the way Blast is now, it's actually worth it because you won't take any fall.
Yeah. It seems you're gonna have much more chance of getting blasted off things now.
Yes, so it's not too. It's not too terrible, but I think it's going to go back to the old way.
Yeah. I liked the old way better. I can see there's pluses, minuses, but Coach, if you're saying that the chances are that they're going to do both, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think so too, because also, where the balancing is of the game. There's some stuff that's really, really powerful and whatnot, but you have to pay for it. So if you're going to run like the Enforcers or Peacekeepers, so if I take a Peacekeeper with a Defender shield and some snipers and even the Pathfinders, I'm only really at a 200-point game. I'm looking at somewhere between 6 and 8 models. Yeah. So you're paying for that. Now they're going to cause a lot of damage and they're going to be very, very tenacious where they're not going to die. But you're paying for it. If I go against a Plague who takes, let's say, Rob, I sent you that list, right?
Yeah.
Stage 1, 2 aberrations, 14 zombies. Good luck. You know what I mean? So.
And what was you had an Enforcer one too? What was it? The shields with who was behind the shields?
Yeah, definitely Peacekeeper with the shields, Assault Enforcers, and then you take the Sergeant. You don't take the. Don't take the other guy. He's terrible. Hopefully the guys in the other beta that we got, the last one we got, the secret one, those guys come out because those guys were really good.
Yeah, they have much better abilities.
Absolutely, and more point cost effective.
Yeah, and for me, the weapon ability is the suppression. I like how they've taken away Blaze Away and added it into the weapon as suppression, and I think that is a much better ability.
And
makes it so much easier.
The big thing is that Blaze Away was gone. Well, we should talk about. I think Blaze Away is gone, and also levels of aggression are gone because they went hand in hand. How do you guys feel about? Well, let's talk like getting Blazing Away and going to suppression. What do you guys think about that?
Well, suppression was always annoying because you had to remember, okay, there's 2 levels of first you're knocked down, then you're knocked down with an X on you, and then you had to like get up from it. It was much more complex, and I personally didn't like it. What about you, Jack?
We always instead of changing aggression levels, it was stand up anyways. Like we
played almost like this anyway.
We were playing this system. The only difference is now Plague can't start enraged, which is a deficit as far as I'm concerned. That was something that was kind of made that faction, gave it a little extra flair. But really, being able to move with the cards up and down in aggression, remembering to go up and down in aggression, it was a system that really just didn't need to be there. I prefer this. It's much more either up and active or on the ground pinned. Simple.
Well, when you guys played, I don't know, because this is the way we used to do it. So if you were enraged, okay, blazed away, and I got 3. Okay, hold on. So I'm enraged, alert, pinned, then suppressed. Okay, so now I'm suppressed. Put the X on it. Okay, so now I'm going to get mean. Now I'm going to use a card. All right, hold on. Suppressed.
Yeah, there was like math involved.
Yeah, it really was. I kind of like the suppression. You're down or you're up.
Yeah, that's much better. Much simpler.
But I do agree with Jack. Like, if I'm going to run like that plague list I just said, there's not one shooter among the bunch. Why can't I enrage them? Why can't I give them something? Because enrage was key to your plague. I mean, everybody who didn't have a shoot stat or didn't have a gun was enraged right from the beginning. We didn't even, at the point, we weren't even using enraged tokens because
you assumed.
Well, everybody's enraged because of this, and then enrage could be taken away from you. So that was also, that was also kind of cool, but. I don't know. Like, he got shot, and I think
you're less angry because you got shot or you got pinned.
I think it would go the other way. I would be like, saying enrage because I got shot.
So maybe enrage should be a ability instead. Like, it just gives you +1 in a fight. Some models have it. And it's always you're always enraged.
Right. You got a double amount to suppress him, and then he can go from enraged to pinned.
Yeah. Yeah. True. It's just it has nothing to do with suppression anymore. It's just he's angry. So he gets better fights. That's pretty much the only reason you'd ever be enraged anyways, right?
Right.
And also that bonus in fights.
And suppression has changed now because it
does normal damage, right?
Right. You have it, or, like you shoot the guy, and if he makes all his saves, okay, well, but this weapon has a suppression attached to it. So now, no matter what happens, you're going to be, the worst comes to worst, you're going to get pinned. So you're going to have to waste a short action to stand up.
And now you can do damage and pin them, which is nice.
Yeah, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot better because it makes sense. It's like, I just think it's better. I mean, you're throwing a
lot
lot of bullets at him anyway, so
right.
Why didn't you damage him before?
Right, and it's also when you were blazing away, you might pin or suppress him, and if you didn't, he would be standing there. Now, if I'm shooting him and it has a suppression thing, he's gonna either he gets hit or he's gonna duck for cover. It makes sense. I like the way the pinned is.
It's not a whole square like Blaze Away was. You're just shooting a guy, so it's not. You're not suppressing a whole square.
Let's go to the video and check because I
don't think it's a whole square, is it?
I'm not sure. Now you see, it's a good thing you said it. A weapon with this ability shoots as normal. Then, in addition, any model from either side in the target. Pinned.
So you can damage the one guy, but everybody gets pinned, which is kind of cool.
Well, me, Rob, and Jack, Coach Rob and Jack are walking in the dead zone, and Coach gets shot. Jack and Rob are going to stand there and look at each other. No, you got to cover.
Yeah. So, especially if there's a lot of bullets flying through the air.
Correct. So you're going to, you're like, oh my God, what the hell was that? And why is Coach out in front?
Well, we know why. That's a good spot to take a break. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about more generic pros and cons about the beta we've seen so far. And we'll be right back.
It's time to enter the Strike Zone.
The Strike Zone podcast is the ultimate guide to the miniature sports game, Dreadball. From the ringside seats of an underground Dreadball Extreme match to the glitz and glamour of Dreadball Classic, the Strike Zone strives to bring you the latest and greatest Dreadball has to offer. I am your host, Adam, aka Mr. Voxman, and you can find out more at warmoreradio.com.
Welcome back to the Dead Zone podcast.
What's up, guys? This is Coach coming back to you with Rob and Jack. This is the Dead Zone podcast, and we're talking about Dead Zone Redux. So I think the next topic we're going to go into is building your own strike team, which is how you're going to play the game, how you're going to equip the guys, and how you're going to throw them out onto the Dead Zone mat. And there's a few different ways to a few different changes that they made. Slight changes, but we're going to discuss them. So in the old game, you'd pick as many leaders as you want, as many troops as you want. For every troop that you took, you could take a specialist. That has changed. Now you can take one leader only, just one leader, no limit on the troops. But for every troop you take, you can take one specialist like before. But for every 3 troops, I could take a vehicle. And then from there, I could choose my weapons and gear as fit. So let's, for argument's sake, say I have a 200-point game. I have 180 points of models, and I don't want to take any more models. I can kit them out with all cool gear and switch out weapons and stuff. So everybody's going to come equipped with stock weapons or whatever they come equipped with. And you can either keep that or you can add to that. So that's the difference. You know, you could take a vehicle, like if you want to take a Strider or maybe a Valkyr or one of the unicycles, which I hate those models. You have to take a minimum of 3 troops to unlock that. So you're paying the troop tax to unlock some things. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, that's going to change your list building a bit, Jack. You won't be able to take a Stage 3 leader and a Stage 1 leader.
Yeah, I don't like it. The earlier betas didn't have that, and I was shocked to see it in the last one. The leaders cost more. You should, if you're willing to pay for the additional dice, if you're willing by paying for the additional leadership, I don't see why that has to change. Except,
or even if they say only one tactician works at a time. So you don't even get the additional dice. You still can take multiple leaders. I don't understand why they limited the leaders. It's kind of weird.
If you take 2 guys, you have to say at the beginning of the game which particular army special rule are you going to use. So if you do kill the first leader, the second guy has a different ability because he's different.
Yeah, I guess that would make it confusing.
Yeah, you have to use the first ability, I think. Maybe that's why it gets a little wonky. Like, all right, well, this guy's dead, and he gives me +1 to whatever. But now this guy's still alive. He gives me a +1 to something else, and I'm going to use that rule.
That makes sense, yeah. I can understand why they're doing it then.
Yeah.
But like you say, just let you choose. Like Jack would announce, this is my leader. You would never, even though both guys were technically the leader, you would always say which one was your actual leader.
And it seems like that was just the thing that you would do. Like on the honor system, we said, okay, this is the leader now, and this is the rule I'm using. And we went on, and it was no big deal. We played a lot of games like that. I can see how honor system and just declaring doesn't seem it wouldn't work. Say a tournament, but I don't know. It's odd.
Well, it's like declaring a terrain at the beginning of a game. You always have to say, okay, this is, like for normal games, like King's War or something, you say, okay, this is rough terrain, or it's the same idea. You just declare, okay, this is my leader, this is what ability we're using this game. And that's just at the beginning. It's not that hard.
No, so I don't know. I like the way you build the strike team. I like a lot of the things they're going with. The leadership things, a new change. I'm not going to say it's bad or good, or I don't understand the reasons behind it yet, but it's just very recent.
Well, once again, they're just trying to make it simple, right? That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, also, you have to announce who's your leader, because your opponent might have a mission where if you kill the leader, you obtain an objective. But now everyone has a victory point total attached to them. So let's say, for argument's sake, if you have a leader and the leader's dead, your opponent will get those points, which might be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, depending on his victory points. And also, which is a difference in this game as opposed to the last version of Deadzone, is if you kill anyone, and you automatically get their victory points at the end of the round, not at the end of the game. So the game has become cumulative. So it's a little bit more accounting as far as that's concerned. But instead of waiting till the end of the game to reach your victory point level to claim victory, every round you're kind of figuring out how much is that. So what do you guys think about the victory points attached to the guys and also keeping score at the end of every round? What do you think about that?
Well, it's pretty simple. We just either mark it down on a sheet or use a die or something. Like you just keep track of how many victory points you have.
Do you like that? Do you like that? Maybe I didn't. My question is, do you like the mechanic of keeping score and using that score cumulatively through the whole thing, or did you like it before where it was like, oh wait, I got 10 points, I win?
No, yeah.
This way is much better for taking and holding the objectives and being able to say, okay, I've been on this objective for 2 rounds unopposed, so you're gaining the points per round rather than, oh, I have to hold this objective until the end of the game, till the last round. It's a simpler, more intuitive. The old system was broken. Everyone kind of knew it. This is a very, very easy fix. Like I can't imagine people would have a problem with every round taking account of how many people were killed, adding that up.
Yeah. I think this is how it was supposed to be. It just wasn't clear in the first iteration. I think this is what he meant, especially with the objectives.
Right.
The holding an objective and getting 2 points for holding it for the whole game, that's not worth anything. Why bother?
Mm-hmm.
Now you get it every round. That's pretty impressive.
Right.
It makes fighting over those objectives a lot more important.
I like the fact too. It's if the guy's in the cube with you, you're denying each other the points. But if the guy's in the cube next to you, he's not denying you the points.
Yeah.
So
it's not like before. Yeah.
Yeah, I hated that where it was like,
yeah.
I don't remember, it was either capture or control, but
it's not big enough. The board isn't that big to make that somebody's not going to be in a square next to you. Like
right. So now, and if the guy just happens to not be close enough to be in the same cube with you, now you get to, you're still holding that cube, and then next round you're going to have to shoot or fight or whatever, but you still keep it there. I like that a lot. I think it's better. And then also, if you have one last guy and a guy's holding a 2 point objective, you maybe use your move dice and you move right into it, and you're like, aha, well, you're not going to get it. I know I'm not going to get it, but you're not getting it. You deny him the objective points.
And the opposite's true too. You can almost sacrifice a guy, run him out into the open, grab an objective. You know that's the end of the round, so you get those 2 points.
Right.
Next round he's probably going to get killed, but you got those 2 points for him. You know?
Exactly. So now it's a deeper, with a simple mechanic change. It's a deeper thought process as far as strategy.
Yeah, a lot more strategy. Yeah, for sure.
And what about victory points? Not because it used to be, if you kill a leader, you would get X amount of points. Now everybody has a well, remember it was you get 1 for a troop, 2 for this, 2 for that.
Yeah.
And everybody has a point value attached to them. What do you guys think about that?
Once again, it's much clearer. I think before it was like, now it's like when you kill somebody, you're like, okay, how many points is that guy worth? Before it was you were trying to keep it secret, and you're trying to like, okay, because sometimes troops were worth 1 point, sometimes were worth 2 points, so you couldn't like say, is that a troop? And then they knew which one you had, kind of thing, knew which mission. Now it's like you just say, okay, who is that? How many points is he worth? Then you just mark it. You can mark it down as,
Right, because everybody's sharing the same thing. We're just trying to, every guy you wipe out, you're getting points for it.
Mm-hmm. And they think they said somewhere along the way that certain missions will change that around, where
right.
Like sometimes it's not worth killing people. You get half points for killing people instead of full points, and more points for taking objectives, or the opposite. And that's kind of interesting, changing things around.
Yeah. Also now, before when you had gear, you were able to take, let's just say your army doesn't have jump packs, but if you had enough points left over, you can give every guy a jump pack, or you can give everybody AP ammo, or you can give them whatever. Now, depending on your point level, you could take their common, rare, and unique items in the gear, not in the weapons, but in the gear. And like, let's say for argument's sake, 200 points, you can take 4 common, 2 rare, and 1 unique. So now the different way it is. If I wanted to take, like we were talking how great the Defender Shield is, but in the smaller games I can only take one of them because I can only take 1 rare. Mm-hmm. But if I take a 200, 250 point game, I could take 2 of them. and then anything that's unique all the way across the board, you can only take one of. So, I mean, I like that. I like that. It limits you. You could take it. You're going to pay points for it, but they limit you to how many you take. Because honestly, I'd give everybody a defender shield if it was up to me. But this is limiting you to only 2 per faction.
See, that should be on the weapons too, I think, because right now, if you really wanted to spend the points, you could give everybody sniper rifles, or
Right.
it seems. I don't know if they're going to change that where it's like who can equip what with. Can you get a trooper who has like the best weapon and things like that? Like,
Right. Also, can a Z from the Rebs take a Polaris cannon or something that you put on a Strider? So they haven't really said that. But like you're saying, if you're going to take a sniper rifle, the new thing that they did, what I think it's actually really, really good is, the sniper rifle, let's go with the enforcers, is 12 points. It's range 10, it's heavy, so you have to use a long action. Your sniper scope, which is a new rule giving you a +2, but if you have a 2-point enforcer, you give him a sniper rifle, he becomes a 3 victory points. So you can take, like you said, you could take 4 or 5 sniper rifles, knowing the fact that those guys are worth 3 victory points apiece because you're adding that to them. Or if let's say you get a sniper rifle to a peacekeeper, well, now he's worth 4 victory points if you kill him. So it'll be cool to have like an army of snipers, but you kill 3 guys, that's 9 points right there. So,
but like say if you equip those snipers with shields, then they're hard to kill to get those victory points.
Yeah, well, 2 armor, you could probably get through that. I know a peacekeeper with the defender shield is
that'd be expensive though at that point.
Yeah, and now since they're size 2, there's going to be 3 wounds, armor 3. Woo!
Yeah, thank God they changed that. We were comparing model sizes between what was this, Jack, the stage 2 and the peacekeeper. We're like, why is stage 2 size 2 but a peacekeeper is size 1?
Right.
Yeah. We couldn't figure out why, but it turns out it was a misprint, really.
It was a typo, yeah. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't explain why the Z is a size 1.
Yeah, it should be a size 0.5, I think.
Yeah. Or that would be a reason to double all the sizes, right? Then a Z could be a 1.
Correct. Yeah, then that goes back to the original argument. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
And you could fit 8 Zs in a square.
Yeah, that'd be something.
It could take a lot of stuff.
Or we said that Zs should be modeled 2 to a base every time. So there's 2 Zs on every base.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's how we did it anyways. They're so small.
Well, we played 100-point armies. It's for all our play testing. To keep them fast, the game's fast. We wanted to get as many games under our belts as possible, different variations. And we found because all the totals, the costs of each model have gone up now. And each beta we had, there were some changes here and there, but for the most part, everything costs more. So the 100-point army in the new rules didn't add up to the amount of models that you would get from a 70-point army of the old rules. You were having smaller strike forces. Now, Coach, you were saying that you were playing the 200-point army?
Yeah, because what we do is when we were figuring stuff out, it seems like the 70-point game is hovering around that 200 point because, if you were taking, for 70 points, if you were taking 6 enforcers, around 200 points, that's about where you're going to be. So for us, the 200 points wasn't bad. Now, don't get me wrong, you could take Plague or Marauders, and you can take a crap ton of dogs with it, or more beasts, and you can go to town, or you could take zombies. But it seems like the 200 point, I think that's the sweet spot. We haven't really done higher games, 250, 300, but 200 points seems to be where you can get a really nice flavor, a really nice spread around of the models with some 1 or 2 equipment that you want to give to some guys, and it seems to be where it needs to be. So I think the 200 is the new 70.
Okay, that's we were thinking that maybe depending the plague was falling in around 60 points of the old rules, and enforcers were falling in even close to around 50 points. So if you were to translate the two over. So 200 seems to be, if you wanted to field the same amount of models that you were before, you're feeling 200's about where you'd want to play.
Yeah, that seems to be the like the base game. I think 100 points, you get in there, you teach a guy how to play it. I don't know, 150.
We found the 100-point games were a little small. Like,
yeah,
I know for especially playing enforcers, you could hardly get any guys on the board.
Right. So what were you getting for 100 points? You're getting about
3 guys, maybe.
Yeah, 3 or 4 guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now 200 points, you're getting 6. So
Yeah,
you're like, you can do
Better equipped too, I'm sure.
Yeah, in the old 70 points, like you would take a sergeant, maybe a sniper, and 3 troopers, whether they be assault or regular troopers. You could do that.
Yeah.
So, that's why I like the 200 points, and then just doing the gear list, the supplies list is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I think what we were talking about before, they'll have to figure out those weapons about who can take what, like you say with Z's, and then the gear they have put in some changes where like energy shield was a gear and a weapon, and you said the defender shield was a gear and a weapon. They're gonna have to switch those around, right?
Yeah, for the Revs have it where it's a gear and a weapon.
Yeah, I think that was just once again somebody put it in the wrong spot, or it was
right. So I think I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but they have a defender shield in gear, and then I'm sorry, energy shield is in gear,
yeah,
and then energy shield is in weapons, and then in gear it's 12 points, but in weapons it's 8 points, but 1 victory point. So I would rather pay the 4 points and not take the extra VP on a character.
Yeah, they said that Jake did mention that it's an item only, so it should be in the gear. So
right,
but who knows what the costs are all random right now. Like I don't think they've quite got the balance down yet.
Right,
they're kind of still working that out, and that should be interesting.
Yeah.
So is there? I think we'll take another break, and then we'll talk about the proposed changes that the rules committee have mentioned in the forums. Want to go over that after the break?
Okay. Well, also, you want to just go quick over how they streamline shoot?
Oh, yeah. We haven't even talked about that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just shoot and fight stats. I mean, shoot now, remember, it used to be this, that, this, that, this, that. Basically, you get a +2 if you can see the whole model. And that's it.
And -2 if friendlies in the square, right?
The friendlies are in there. That's it. And then I think they're going to add in the +1 for the above, being higher up.
Elevation. That's we found that was even a sniper with the hollow scope and like that. He just didn't have the potency, and the problem was everyone would get their sniper up a couple cubes and to get that extra dice, and that's lacking right now. They did a lot of modifying to the fight modifiers. They've made a lot of changes there. The shoot just wasn't up to snuff. We found it just wasn't the same.
Yeah, I think. Well, if you get a sniper, you're rolling 5. If he goes up 1 level, you're rolling 6. Then if he's got a clear shot, you're rolling 2 more. So
yeah, clear shot though never happens. All right.
Yeah, it's almost never happened, and also
unless you're playing a board with 2 buildings on it, you're never going to get a clear shot.
Yeah, no, I don't know about you guys. I mean, I've seen your board, and it's very similar to our boards where we're putting as much terrain as on there because it's like a choke point. If you're going to put just like 1 building in a picket fence, then you're never going to, of course you're going to have clear sight, and it's going to be, shooting's going to be so OP. The whole point of Deadzone is this claustrophobic, 30 or 40. It reminds me of the first Christian Bale Batman movie when they're fighting in the storage containers, and there's like the storage containers around, so the guys were but at every turn, and then Batman was jumping out at him from the top. So it's this claustrophobic thing where
it's urban combat,
right? And if you do get a clear shot, you definitely earned your 2+.
Or it's point blank range, and you deserve to get a good shot on him.
Exactly. So, and then the fight modifiers, there's a few things that are the same. +1 if you move into the cube, +1 if it's a friend in there. But now you get a +1 if your opponent is injured. I really like that because if me and you are fighting and you have a wound on you, you're not going to be as combat effective because you're hurt. So you get a plus to that, and you get a +1 if your opponent is. You get a +1 if you're larger than your opponent. So a size 2 to a size 1 will get an extra dice.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's cool. And then you get a +1 if your opponent is pinned, but that's from the last.
Yeah.
The last one, if the guy was suppressed, then he's got to get up, and he's going to get a -1 because he's getting up. So the fight stats, I mean, it's quicker. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 5 things that you can do. So move in.
You can actually remember everything.
Yeah, friendly, move in, and friendly. We already remembered. You just got to remember if you're bigger and if your opponent's injured. You'll get the extra dice. So you could potentially, if he's injured and pinned and you're bigger than him, you're getting a +5.
Yeah.
That's
Hand-to-hand combat got real nasty. We figured that out real quick. I was pleasantly surprised at how much damage a zombie could do. Just a lone zombie, if you can start getting adding these dice. What I really liked is how they've changed the way. It used to be the onus was on the person who was injured to roll against. They've changed it now that it's the plus.
Mm-hmm.
It works the way everything else does. It's just a very tiny change, but I like the fact that they saw that they could just add a 1+, and it makes it quicker. Everything's they're trying to reduce rolls and reduce what you have to remember, and just +1 dice if the guy's wounded for the attacker.
Yeah, and I like that there's no minus to survive. You're rolling your 3 survive no matter what, and then now you got to choose to add some command dice if you need it. Maybe to +1 to that.
Yeah, so it's only the attacker's modifying his dice. The defender always has the same unless they're going to use command dice.
Right, and the command dice for that, if you wanted, let's say you had 3 +1s, you could actually roll them all together because there's no limit to it.
I like that.
So now, let's say a guy's rolling in, you're injured, he's bigger than you, all this stuff, and he's got those 5. You choose to use, all right, you know what? I'm going to go for broke, use my 3, plus I have 3 command dice, so I'm going to try to do it that way. So I like that a lot, and I thought it was a bad mechanic where you were taking minuses on survive for any reason.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make sense to me. And then even like with cover and blaze away and stuff, it was just a constant argument. I'm in cover, I'm not in cover, I'm in cover, I'm not in cover. You get -1, +1. This is good because it reduces the ambiguity of what's going on. I like that a lot.
And for all the games we used to play, like, we always had to look at the sheet and say, okay, this is happening, this. You'd go over every little thing. Now, I don't think we looked at the sheet once. It was so much clearer. Once we knew, okay, you're bigger, okay, this guy's always going to get a +1, and,
Right.
Yeah. The putting the onus on the person trying to survive, it just added more complication. This is simple, +1. The attacker's the only one making any modifications. It streamlined it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's probably true for all the rules. And, okay, we'll take that break, and we'll come back and talk about what they plan to do in the future.
Countercharge. Countercharge is the first podcast totally dedicated to the game Kings of War. Join your hosts Andrew, Mark, and Rob as they delve into the world of Mantica and bring you in-depth coverage of all things Kings of War. You can find us on iTunes and at ohiohammer.com, a proud member of the Ohio Hammer network of podcasts.
And now, back to your hosts, Rob Harper and Jack Pike.
So, welcome back, and this is our, I think this will be our last segment here before we head out, because it's a pretty long episode, I think. And in this segment...
We got a lot of good stuff to discuss here, man. This is earth-shattering important news. We got to get this out, man. We got to get the signal out, so...
That's right. And so just today, the day we're recording this, the Rules Committee put out a forum post where they're saying what they plan on changing to the rules. and we'll go over each point, and we'll discuss if that's a good idea or if it's a bad idea. And we'll start with they plan to add +1 dice to shoot actions for higher level models. We already discussed this. We all think that's a better idea, right?
Yep, we're all in agreement, I think, on
Yes.
that. It's actually
It just makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
you're higher up, you should get a better shot. And next one is Frag and Indirect no longer have any effect on models in adjacent cubes. Jack knows this was a bugbear in my... I hated the fact that it makes sense logically that a blast blasts people in adjacent cubes, but it was so powerful you could really dominate a board, so I'm glad they're thinking about changing this. I'm not sure about no longer have any effect. I just didn't like the whole blasting away on the adjacent cubes. They can be pinned on adjacent cubes. I'm fine with that. It's the whole getting knocked even farther away. Like, that was a pretty powerful attack.
Or it was like something would blow up and hit him, then I think that's just a streamline right there. So the guys in the cube that get hit are going to get the damage on them, but the guys next to them, I like the aesthetic where it was the mechanic of something blows up in the cube in here, and I'm standing on to the right of it, and then that guy's standing to the left of it, and we have a chance to get some damage on us. But I think it was, double and tripling. So if there's, you would have like 6 or 7 dice rolls if you had a really good frag or a massive frag in the middle.
There's so many people flying over.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, all right, I have to roll against this, I have to roll against this, I have to roll against this. I think they took that out just because it took too long.
Yeah, so, like, currently, it's, like, in the beta, it's that if it lands in the cube, that person takes damage, everybody else gets knocked away and pinned.
Right.
But I think that I like it that adjacent cubes should be pinned, maybe, because they still had a blast right next to them. But they shouldn't be knocked away. That would be a pretty large explosion.
Right.
And also, you get, especially when you only had 1 hit point in the previous betas, you get blasted into the wall, that might kill you. Being an adjacent cube to a blast might actually end up killing you. So, and also, what was I gonna say? Oh, whatever. I just never liked the frags or indirects. They seemed really overpowered to me. But
well, also too, it's not here, but in the Quickworthy blog, if you throw a grenade into a cube and it scatters in a direction that there is a wall, it kind of ricochets off and comes back into that cube.
Yeah.
So I like that. I think it's better because let's say you throw a grenade into a cube and you scatter, to the left and the wall is right there. It should bounce off it and bounce right back. And
I think that's how we always played, isn't it, Jack?
Yeah, we
I didn't know that wasn't the rule.
Yeah, it just seemed like common sense. I don't know if they needed a black and white to that, like it just seemed like that. If people, there was always the assumption there was an invisible wall on the border, and walls were something that people could bounce off of. I just think we assumed that the grenades would do the same. But
well, we would play it where if it's scattered, what we were thinking was you throw the grenade, but something happens, and maybe you're a crappy shot or whatever, and instead of landing in the cube, it would land in the cube next to you. But if there was a wall there and there was a second level, it would land on the second level.
Yeah, that would make sense too. Yeah.
Right. So now, I mean, that's like you read it your way, I read it my way. I think we're both right, but now it's like no. What we meant was this. So you guys were right on that. But I could see it from where I was coming from. Like, the guy throws it and it lands on the cube next to you, but on the roof.
1 level up higher, yeah.
Yeah. So, but then again, if somebody's standing up there, you got issues.
Yeah.
So, but I like it this way too. It's like, and also you think about it, there's a better chance of you landing in that cube and it's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you guys, but scatter, I mean, if you got to get 1 success, I'd say 90% of the time there was a success, at least 1 success getting.
Yeah, now that you need 2, that's a lot harder.
Yeah. So, but I like that better because it's hard to get in there,
Mm-hmm. It's not super easy to, especially when you're using indirect, where you're just popping it up in the air and bringing it right back down. Like,
right.
Maybe if you're a farther distance, I think you could plan for things more. This is just you're like hoping that it lands in the right square, which I like.
Yeah. I like that too. Yeah, that's a nice. It just one of those things. It's needed clarification.
Yep. And the next thing is that Weight of Fire and Frenzy, they're thinking about nerfing them a bit, because right now both of those you get to reroll all your misses, and they're going to change them to have a random, or not a random number, but a determined number in brackets, so you get to roll that many misses. And I think I don't know if have you found that those are overpowerful, Way to Fire and Frenzy in your games, having to reroll all the misses?
It's. I'll be honest with you. When I read that, my heart sunk a little bit because when I was outfitting my guys, everybody had either Way to Fire or Frenzy.
I love Frenzy. Yeah.
Oh, Frenzy is great, but I don't know. I don't want to pass judgment yet until I play it. Although Frenzy was kind of like insane. I took one of the Brocker Chiefs who had Frenzy, and he basically killed a stage 1 because a few 8s and kept re-rolling and re-rolling. It was like a domino effect. So the way it was written in the beta, let's say you roll 3 dice with 3 successes, but there's 2 8s. I roll those 8s; they become 1s. I re-roll those, and now if I get 2 more 8s and I re-roll those, so you could have 10 or 12.
It gives you a lot more chance of getting exploding dice.
It's crazy. So, re-rolling 1, hey, it might not be bad.
I think
that guy with a good fight stat.
Yeah. I think it should be right now. They're saying for the beta purposes, use a 1 as the bracket.
Right.
You were saying earlier, Jack, you think it should be a higher number though.
The thing is, I really liked the. It made everything very lethal, and it was deadly the way it was before, where it was reroll all. And I too was kind of gutted when I saw that they were going to change that. But adding the brackets and then a number beside, say, Frenzy 3, Frenzy, it means that they'll have greater control so that they can make things scalable. So you have a weapon that does, say you have a weapon that would be bracket 3 because it's a rifle. Okay, that's going to be more powerful than the brackets 1, which is the pistol. And you can scale it all the way up to, say, bracket 6 for a vehicle-mounted weapon. I can see how it gives a little more control, of a little more... in the future, it's looking forward to being able to keep things standard. But I really did love just rolling all the dice over again. Any misses, it was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like a chain gun should have like bracket 6 or something like that. Like you should be able to pretty much reroll everything because you're shooting a chain gun. It's shooting a lot of fire out. You should get a lot more rerolls than those ones.
Well, with Frenzy, I think rerolling the misses isn't too terrible because of the fact that when you come into a cube, you're only going to be allowed to fight one opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And,
there's no chaining like there used to be.
There's no more chaining anymore. So, therefore, Frenzy...
Doesn't matter if you did 1 point, like you did 2 points of damage or 1,000 points of damage,
right.
You still killed them.
Because we're not doubling and tripling where you could, get a free move or whatnot. So, maybe Frenzy rerolling everything was too much, but I think Frenzy 1 and Way to Fire 1 is a little too... Maybe baseline would be 2.
Yeah,
but also
give a little bit more.
You got to pay the points for it. I mean, everything that has Way to Fire or Frenzy has a higher point value plus an extra victory point. So you're not getting off scot-free. And if you're going to build an army, like when I was building an army with, just everybody's getting Way to Fire, Frenzy, and it burns, my 3 favorite rules. So that was like, I was trying to build lists like that. But the thing is with the 200-point game, I wasn't having 15, 16 models. I was coming in, hovering around 6 to 7 models, but elite. So are you bringing an elite force, or are you going to bring weight of numbers force, or like Way to Fire for the Plague is key when you have a 5 or a 6 shoot stat. I mean,
you're going to missing a lot.
Yeah.
So,
I think 1 is kind of low. 2, 3.
Yeah.
Would 2 or 3 would be
reasonable.
Reasonable. If you're going 5 or 6, but you're talking about maybe a 20-point weapon now, or whole mounted weapon, or a strider, or something.
Some big weapon, anti-aircraft gun or something.
Yeah, when you get hit with it, you're going to do some damage.
Yeah.
But like I said, you're really only hitting one model with it, unless you have fire control. But which fire control is a little ambiguous too. They got to tighten that up too. But I agree with Jack that 2 or 3 would be a good baseline for it.
Yeah. So you're getting into, like, obviously if you're getting a Strider-mounted, like, rotary cannon of some sort, it should be able to just pulp a person, so they should get more rerolls to make sure you kill a person with that. Like a normal model. Those things should be super powerful, where a normal gun, maybe not as much, but it still should be. If it has the ability of weight of fire, it's not just a normal rifle, right? So.
Right, and also maybe if you have weight of fire with a higher number, you have less AP.
Yeah,
so,
or something.
So
yeah.
so it's not as super duper. I mean, even in AP1 now with the reduced armor across the board, you want to have something that's maybe just shooting out a lot of fire, like a Plague HMG. It has nothing, but if you could re-roll all your misses or most of the misses with a 6+ or a 5+, that's
it helps a little bit. Yeah,
helps a little bit. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of HMGs, burst lasers, onslaught cannons, hailstorm autocannons, all are going to gain the ability suppression.
Nice.
So that makes sense, because those are all the blaze away weapons from the old one.
Mm-hmm.
So they should have suppression. It just makes sense. Like that's
and also a nice thing too. The burst laser is no longer heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was kind of
That was the worst thing. I mean, I played it a few times, but it was like by the time he got somewhere,
it wasn't worth it. Yeah.
It wasn't worth it because it's like, all right, now I'm going to shoot you. Oh, wait a minute, I got shot.
By the time I walked all that way.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Or you try to put him up like a sniper and get him up there, but Yeah, but I like. Well. It goes back to the whole suppression thing where I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to cause a wound, and then you got to duck for cover. Mm-hmm. So I like the mechanic. When it comes to the suppression with the weapons, the shooting weapons, I like the fact that they took out the levels of aggression and the blaze away.
Makes it so much clearer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much clearer, and it makes a lot more sense in my opinion.
Yes.
And now they have they're going to be adding this new ability called Rapid Fire in, and it's Rapid Fire when you fire weapons. They're either shooting to kill or firing for effect, and if you're shooting to kill, it's regular. But then firing for effect, you get an extra die, and then you just end up pinning. So it's kind of like suppression. So I don't really see the point of this rapid fire thing, right?
Well, this is going back to either I'm going to shoot it or I'm going to blaze away. Yeah,
which I thought that was great that they took that out.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a response to a lot of the whiners who wants blaze away, right. But I think suppression does the same thing but better. This is like a worse version of suppression. You get +1 die, but it only hits the one person, right? Mm-hmm. The target model is pinned, so it's
right. So yeah, because it's
a nerfed version of blaze away. So what's the point?
This seems like they just kind of throw it against the wall, see what's going to stick. Firing for effect. So now, all right. So I'm going to shoot at you. So I'm going to just shoot you regular.
Mm-hmm.
Firing for effect. I add +1 dice to your shooting roll when firing for effect, but otherwise roll to shoot as normal. If the shoot wins, the target model is pinned. If the draw survive wins, it's no effect. So it's like
you're not even doing damage.
You almost never want to do it.
Yeah, I don't see the real point of it.
You might as well just take
a weapon with suppression.
With suppression, and then you
can damage them and you pin them automatically. Yeah. You don't even have to win. You just pin them.
Yeah. This is kind of rapid fire is kind of a crap rule. I think that's
I don't know why they're adding it in. Hopefully they don't add it in. Enough people will be like, "This is stupid."
Yeah, I am going to shoot you for effect. That sounds, I don't know.
It's like Blaze Away, and it's a worse version of Blaze Away because Blaze Away at least hit the whole square. This only hits with single model. Yeah, so I don't really see the point of that one.
Yeah.
So. And then there's a bunch of campaign changes. We don't really play campaigns, but do you have anything to say about those campaign changes? Have you looked them over?
Yes, same thing. It says replacing marksman with weight of fire and brawler with frenzy 1. We haven't really done campaigns. We're going to start doing that, and then we're going to chart that. We're going to document that on Family Gamers, but.
Yeah, mention that whole Christmas thing you were talking about. Maybe get some people to come to your channel.
Christmas is coming up, so we're the whole crew is going to see Star Wars, of course. But we're doing it early enough, and then we're coming back, and we're going to have 3 mats set up. We're going to have 6 games going, and Fabian Hot Dice has made up a campaign. So we're going to try to get as many games in as we can using the beta, and to see. We're already It's bad. We have a group text that we're just talking crap to each other back and forth. So that's the fun part of the game. But, you
And
know,
you said every single person's playing a different faction, you said?
yeah. So we do have an Asterion player. Uh, Jack's favorite family gamer is going to be playing the Enforcers, getting out of his comfort zone. We have a Plague player. Andrew's playing the Rebs. I'm playing the Forge Fathers, and then we have a swing. We don't know who's, maybe someone who grabbed the Marauders or something, something like that. So, but it's weird that the Asterians actually got better too. So,
Yeah,
and the
it's
Rebs
good.
got better. I think, all in all, I mean, with this we were figuring ways to break the game already, but with Frenzy and Way to Fire, now we really got to think about what you're going to do because, you think about it. Do I really want to pay the extra points, which is substantial, for Way to Fire, for just to re-roll one dice? I'm better off trying to get an 8.
Yes.
And then Frenzy, I'm going to re-roll one dice. I mean, I might as well
Especially
not
with the VP costs too, right? You get an extra VPs.
So what we did was, for example, let's take Andrew's list. We're making a Rebs list, and the Craw is 10 points with the Wrist Blaster, which just has Blast, and he's got Glide and Scout, which is awesome. He's got a 4+ fight. So now I start going down. Let's take Combat Blades for 6 points, Frenzy. So now he's got a 4+ fight stat, Frenzy, rerolling all the misses, 16 points. It sounds awesome. But now for 16 points, he's got to reroll one. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not as good as it was. Yeah.
I mean, now the new thing, they have a chainsaw for 4 points, no victory points, but it's AP1. You're better off taking that for 2 points less.
Yeah, especially if you're going up against a group with armor. Like
right.
If you're fighting other Rebs, maybe not, but.
Well, when you think about it, Frenzy, in a way, was good. If you have no AP, I'm not throwing AP at you. I'm throwing
extra dice
at you.
Yeah.
Right. So I have a chance if I roll a few 8s and get a few misses. Frenzy fixes that. So now, all right, I'm a Craw with no armor against an Enforcer, but I'm rolling anywhere from, let's say, moving in from 4 to 8 dice in that range. Because of rerolls and whatnot, I have a better chance of killing you. But when you have Frenzy 1, it's kind of lackluster. I mean, I feel the way I feel the way Jack feels, man. It just my heart sank when I saw this. Like, oh, nerfing it already. We didn't even really get
a chance to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't that effective. Like rerolling misses is good, but it's not crazy good. Like if you get lucky with your die rolls, it's just like Jack was when we played demos. He was rolling 8s constantly. It's like. Well, sometimes you get lucky. That's all it is.
Right. Well, one guy was complaining about how Frenzy was OP. I was reading on Facebook, and he was saying that something killed some. For argument's sake, let's just say that a Brocker with Frenzy killed a stage 1. But that has happened in the past in the old game. With the cards and everything. And
Jack had a Plague Dog kill a Teraton.
Correct. Yeah.
It just happens if you get lucky.
It's freaky, but it happens, Yeah. So, but that's why, I 2 or 3, man. They got to do that. It's killing me. Because now everything changes. This is like they took 2 of my 3 favorite rules and really mucked them up.
Well, hopefully they're just putting this out there to see what the reaction is, and hopefully enough people complain. So.
But they've wanted to try and streamline the game, and they've wanted to keep the dice rolls to a minimal. Re-rolling one die that you've missed with is just adding an extra die roll for very little return. Whereas re-rolling all your misses, you're taking the time, you're re-rolling. It just seems like for one dice, it's not even worth. It doesn't have the weight to it. Like, why would you even? It's just adding another roll. Why wouldn't you find some other mechanic to fix that then?
Or keep it as it was and just balance it by making it more expensive, point wise.
Well, I got to tell you, like, it's not, by rolling one dice or rolling another 5 dice, it's not going to be a big deal because playing other, mass combat war games where you're rolling 30 dice and you get to re-roll your 1s or you get to re-roll your misses, you just pick them out real quick and you roll them again, and that's it. So maybe a whole extra 5 to 8 seconds. It's not really saving anything, and I don't really think it's going to impact the game one way or another with it. I mean,
like you said, it just caused more overkills, but like anything with frenzy, it's probably going to have a good fight stat to begin with, so they're probably going to kill you anyways.
Right, or you got to pay for it and take the victory point. I mean, that's that's. Hey, listen, you could make an elite warrior. He's going to be 40 points, but when you kill him and your opponent gets 6,
he wins the game after one shot. Yeah,
it's that's the risk you take, and that's where I see that's the balance of the game.
Yeah, that's. I think a lot of people don't take into account the cost of VPs that you're giving your opponent when they kill that model. People haven't thought about that. Like you're the first person to really I've heard say that, where it's like that is a real benefit to you if your opponent has a lot more VPs worth of models, right? Right.
If you're going to take 3 guys with sniper rifles, you're adding 2 victory points to whatever cost they are already. Granted, the sniper rifle with the sniper scope +2 and now elevated +1 shoot, it's really awesome. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to blast you off. I'm going to try to take you guys out or just stay in cover.
Yeah.
So, but when they die, if you have a 5-point model with a sniper rifle, that's seven victory points, man. You're in trouble.
You're halfway there in a 100-point game. So,
right.
Yep. So
Absolutely.
For sure.
Depending on how many models you have, if you have a real small model count, all souped up, at some point you lose half your army. You're not re-rolling your command dice anymore.
That too.
That's a big.
That was a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to have that to be able to re-roll those combat dice because
command dice. Yeah.
Sometimes you're looking for something. It's at different points of the game. You're looking for different things.
Especially like you say, if you're not a combat guy or you're not a shooter guy, those are just wasted dice.
Early on, you're looking for moves and activations, and then when you get into shooting range, well, you're looking for the shooting. You're looking for those bullets to come up, and then eventually, when you've closed in hand to hand, you're looking for the modifiers and the fight dice. It's if you can't re-roll those, well, we've found out that's another aspect of this little thing. So, do you really want to take a strike force of 4 guys that all have all the best kit?
And I think that's the truth about this beta so far, and all Deadzone Redux in general, is that they've simplified everything, but I think it's so much more tactical now. Like, they've actually increased the tactical nature of the game by just streamlining everything. I find you're thinking about things a lot more and how everything works together, and I think it seems a much more tactical game.
Yeah, I think it's very unfair that a lot of people are saying that by dumbing down the rules, you're kind of like, by dumbing down the rules, you're making the game easier to play but not as fun. But by streamlining the rules, not dumbing them down, but streamlining them and just taking out those just these erroneous dice rolls that really were just a pain in the butt to do. I mean, just constantly rolling stupid stuff that after a while it got monotonous and took away from the fun of the game. When you can memorize the rule set, now your thinking shifts from what do I have to do rules wise to what do I have to do tactically, and you focus more on the game, knowing that okay, well, I have 3 guys with frenzy, I have 3 guys with weight of fire who are going to kind of lay down some fire, and I have 3 guys with suppressing weapons, so I can kind of scout these guys up, and then now you start to think tactics and not really worry about like, okay, doubling and tripling and all that good stuff. I mean, the doubling and tripling when I first started playing, I thought was awesome. But now that they've taken it out, I don't miss it.
Well, it's so much easier because you don't have to like think, okay, was that double? Okay, you got 2 scores, I got 1. Okay, that's a double. You got 3, I got 2. Well, that's not a double. Like, it's a lot more like trying to figure things out. Now it's just like, okay, you hit or you didn't hit. What's the difference? Okay, that's the damage. Or so much easier.
I doubled you out. Okay. Oh wait, I tripled you out. What do I do again? What happens?
I have to look it up every time.
Right now, it's just straight up, man. All right, I got to make 4 saving dice. I only have 3, so 1's going through, but I have armor, and it's quicker because we used to, you have to do it like you have to say, okay, I get 1 plus this plus that, and you're counting on your fingers, and it did take time, but
We'd literally look at the chart every time and go, okay, do we have this? No, okay, do we have this? Because you can't remember all of the different
right.
modifiers.
The chart with the 3 columns, yeah,
Yeah.
we had those printed up, and I laminated them because we were using them so much.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ronnie commented to Johnny P. He was like, every time Johnny used the frag, he had to go back and do it. And Ronnie's like, that's not right. You should be able to 1, 2, 3 and do it. I think that's the problem with. I do still play and I still like 40K, but I like to think I'm pretty good on the rules. But every player, even great players, have to put their nose in the book at one point or the other during the game, and it does. It's like it's a buzzkill. So now it's a little quicker. We can get out there and play quicker, and the rules are just it's not only simpler. It's more like it makes sense more. It's I can't think of the word. I can't believe I can't think of the word, but it's come on, Jack, help me out. Where it's more intuitive.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes more sense. The blaze away is gone. Suppression makes sense. I'm shooting at you. The guy in front of you got hit. I'm ducking for cover. The 2 guys are ducking for cover. I like that. It's more. It makes more sense. It's more intuitive, and it's just
quicker,
cinematically better.
And it's quicker. Like it's just you don't have to think about it. You don't have to roll defense on every single guy in that square anymore. The one guy gets shot. The other 2 guys just get pinned. Done.
And
how much quicker is that?
If you have range and you have a suppression weapon, you're going to look for a square that has a few guys in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and what do you guys think about the? This is dirty, boy. The stun grenade. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, we haven't even used that though. It's like a flashbang kind of, right?
Well, no, it's it doesn't cause any damage, but if you hit, everybody in the model becomes activated.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's pretty mean. Yeah,
it's so dirty. I love it. But the only problem is the stun grenade is rare, and so is Defender Shield. So, boy, oh boy, I really. What do you do, man?
And it's one use though, isn't it? One use.
Yeah, but
so I'd much rather have a Defender Shield if it's one use. At least Defender Shield will help you the whole game.
I'm thinking the same way, but just to see the look on your
just to be mean, yeah.
If you're going like with a plague and they got like 5 guys or 4 guys in one cube, and you just threw that. There used to be the glue grenade that the orc character had, Boomer.
Yeah,
He's the only one who had that. But yeah, it was that's so dirty, but it's so good.
That's by limiting it. That makes it it's mean, but you only get to use it once, so it only screws them up for one round. It's not like something that keeps happening, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go.
But then you have to waste a short action to stand up.
Yeah, that's right. It just slows them down.
Right.
So is there anything else? So I think we might want to wrap it up right here. And then is there anything else we want to say? Go to Family of Gamers 777 on YouTube. Check out all your videos because they're amazing. It's
Deadzone December. We're covering Deadzone this month.
So everybody should be getting a lot more people to come watch that because it's.
I hope so because honestly, it's a labor of love. We love doing it, and it's just we're trying to share with the community, and by doing this, when people comment and stuff, it sparks a discussion with us, and we take the videos in certain ways. So it's just really come be part of the family, just hang out with us, and if you can, it'd be great, man, because we don't get anything out of this other than the love for the hobby and just love of getting to meet people. And, it's really great.
Yep, for sure. And the more people talking about it, the more we can figure everything out and get a consensus. And that's what the whole idea of a beta is for, right?
Right.
And Jack, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I think we've had a good show. I hope everyone's who just got the beta now will be able to take away from this show and coach from your videos, kind of get a jump start, get everyone up to where we were. And again, it's a community, and everyone's going to have input. Everyone's going to be able to say what they like, what they don't like, and hopefully within the next couple months, we have an alpha that we can really, really sink our teeth into.
Yep, and as always, go to cafepress.ca/Deadzone podcast. Coach, do you guys have any shirts or anything out there yet?
It's getting cold here, so I think I gotta get a hoodie. I'm gonna get a hoodie, and I need a a coffee koozie.
You guys got to get your own store up so we can get some Family Gamer stuff. I love your new logo. Your new logo is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to. Now that football season's over, it's time to put a little bit more emphasis into the channel. That now that I have a little extra time.
Yeah. So until next time, I've been Rob.
And I'm Jack.
And I guess I'm still the coach.
And we'll be back next time for some more Deadzone. Until then, have fun. Test out the beta, people.
Thank you for listening to the Deadzone podcast. I have been your announcer, William Randolph Wintergreen. Visit the website, deadzonegame.podbean.com. Email your hosts at deadzonepodcast@gmail.com. On Twitter, you can follow the show at Deadzone Podcast. The Deadzone Podcast is a production of Vinland Old Time Radio Productions.
Like you said, sinking our teeth into it so that when the alpha comes out, we're already, I mean, my goal is to get enough games in so that when the new models come out, we just kind of roll them into the fold.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's going to be January, February before Infestation comes in.
Yeah, probably March. The way it looks. I mean,
yeah.
It's. I'm already like I've gone through the mourning stage of not getting the models in. I just can't see it happening in January because.
Yeah, they've already said February, I think. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised March.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even think it's the models. I think it's the rules.
Well, we said that before when we first got the beta. We're like, they can't get a beta and hope in 1 month to figure out all the rules and then print it all. Like, they have to put this all into printable material, right?
Right. Well, what Ronnie said was it'll take 30 days to have a book.
Yeah, from start to finish, or from like, all right, to print it.
The alpha, go make it.
Yeah.
And it'll be
So
I mean, we could probably get a digital version like overnight.
Yeah, it's the printing that's the issue, right?
Yeah, the printing. So I mean,
and the more you rush them, the more things happen, like what happened with the Dungeon Saga, where they get misprints and stuff. It's because you rush them. Stop rushing them, and they won't make mistakes. They can actually take time to proofread and edit, right?
Well, I gotta tell you though, like, I was trying to find that happy medium of asking Ronnie for the updated betas. So I think I got the first beta in September.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I got the beta in September, and he was like, oh yeah, we should have a beta out in October. And
for public beta, yeah.
Yeah, the public beta. So, it was a few weeks. We played a bunch of games. We played it, and if you want, I could send it to you now that it's out there. But it's
much different.
It's kind of like this one, and it seems like the beta that you guys got. So I'm just trying to like we're on the same page. The last beta seemed to be
farther along than this one.
Yeah, further along as far as that, but didn't have like let's say Enforcer Captain. He didn't have the base weapons. You had to pick all your own stuff.
Yeah. So
now this one kind of went back to the one I got the first time without the special rules. There's just
I like the fact when it used to say just like Enforcer or something, and you pick all the weapons for him.
Right. I mean, I'm looking at this. I'll go bring it up. Like Pathfinder Captain, Pathfinder Sergeant, Pathfinder, Enforcer Sergeant, Enforcer, Assault Enforcer, Peacekeeper, Recon Unit, Dog Drone, Pathfinder Captain, Pathfinder Team, Enforcer Team, Peacekeeper Team. And then we had 3 Army rules. So you have a Pathfinder Army rule, then we had So we had a Peacekeeper, a Pathfinder Leader rule, right? And then we had a Enforcer rule, and then but you know what I'm saying? 3 different leaders with 3 different rules. I mean, like, the Forge Father special rules are...
Yeah, they changed them, eh?
Yeah, they're really horrible. I mean, at least the one guy had where you can heal the suits. Now
Yeah.
now it's I can repair a vehicle. Well, who gives a shit about taking a vehicle? I'd have to take an Iron Ancestor.
It should
Just-
be both. His ability should be either heal a person or like a suit or a
Right.
vehicle.
Or maybe it's like by healing the armor, like repairing the armor, you'll do that.
Hmm.
And it's only on the Mantic Splat, which is very rare as it is. So
Yeah. And it's not something that comes up all the time. So
yeah, exactly.
Would you prefer then to get the models and stuff on time and then just say, okay, the rule books, the updated rule books, not out yet. It's coming in a couple months, but everyone's still going to get their infestation, all their patch
and the newest betas keep coming out.
and
Yeah.
just keep it updated. Like that way, everyone's happy. You're painting. You're still hobbying. You're still involved.
You can get everything done before the finalized thing comes out.
Right.
Yeah. By the
I mean,
time,
that would be great too, because also with the scenery and stuff. But I was thinking of that. Like, why don't they send the models out and then send the hardcover back later? But
Mhm.
that's double the shipping.
Yeah, they want to try to not do that because they've
Right,
been
so-
stuck doing that the last few things.
It's better to put $3 or $4 more bucks in with the book than it is to put a whole new package together and send everybody the whole book.
Yeah.
Suppose just fiscally, you just can't. You got to watch that. Yeah, I suppose so.
That's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, why don't you just send us 2 packages? But that's 2 packages of.
But they've done it every other time when they've ended up having to send 2 packages. They did it for Kings of War,
Really?
and they did it for Dungeon Saga too because they had to send 2 different cartons out. So they
Oh,
end
really?
up doing that anyways. It just it cuts into their bottom line. Obviously, it sucks for them, but
Yeah.
they know they can't. Especially with the Kings of War, they knew they couldn't wait till all of them were done because some of the armies were going to take like an extra 6 months to make. Right, so.
Yeah, because I know Eric got he got the Ogre army and he got the Abyssal Dwarfs army.
Yeah.
But or the Abyssals, I'm sorry, and he still doesn't have them yet.
No, the Abyssals aren't just getting done now. I think so.
Yeah.
Imagine everybody having to wait this long for everything. That would have sucked.
No, that's insane.
So, I could see them going either way.
That's like we had the 3 of us went in for this. We played a demo 2 Adepticons ago when we picked up Deadzone. We played Mercs
Yeah.
and Fabian. He's like, oh, we're doing a Kickstarter right now. So Fabian jumped on it quick, and that was supposed to be delivered a year ago.
Yep, I have the same Kickstarter I'm waiting for.
Oh yeah, is that the one in
Mercs Recon, yep.
Recon? Yeah,
Yeah, they've been taking forever.
yeah. So, but he now, for whatever reason, I went on the Kickstarter to check it out, and they said that the boats are coming.
Yeah,
So
should be soonish.
yeah,
The other one we did is for a kind of like the secret weapon boards. You know those nice boards.
uh-huh.
Another company did it. Gears and Game and Gears. The same people who did your brushes and stuff.
yeah.
But they had an issue with their production. They had a flood or something destroyed half their product. And it's
Right.
been like 2 years since we ordered those ones. So
Really.
just sometimes things happen, but it just sucks waiting.
Yeah, that's the thing with Kickstarter. It's like you
Like-
order something, you kind of want it.
That's anybody who complains about Mantic. They obviously haven't dealt with some of these other companies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's what Fabian was saying. I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. We're gonna have to wait till February, March to get our stuff. He goes, oh man, if we get it in March, I'll be ecstatic.
Yeah,
And because he did one, I forgot the name of it, but they made like, it's almost like Nazi 40K. It looks like,
oh, like Raging Heroes.
yeah, something like that. And they have like, the big Imperial Knight knockoffs and stuff like that. And he waited like 3 years for those to come out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was crazy. But I heard you guys talking about the Match from Mars.
Yeah.
Like, I know Mario well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like a buddy of mine.
Those are great mats.
Yeah,
We use them now almost exclusively.
yeah. I was gonna order them. Then the rumor was coming out about a 3x3 board.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody keeps talking about that, but it's not in the beta at all.
Listen, I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, I think it was funny. It's almost like they meant 3-inch by 3-inch squares, and someone
Yeah.
misunderstood what they said. They're like, "Oh, is it going to be on a 3x3 still?" And they said, "Oh yeah, it's going to be 3x3," and they thought 3x3 board, not 3x3 square.
Yeah,
I think
See,
that
what-
might be something up there.
I was going to order. They had a special with Terrain and Mars, because Mario and this other guy got together and they're like ordering stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was like if you get a board, one of his boards, and it was something like $115, you were going to get a bunch of scenery, and you could pick the scenery, and then they would put the grid on for free.
That's cool.
I was going to do it, but then I was like, oh, I don't want to get a 2x2 and it's a 3x3.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a fat mat.
They have a fat mat too. Those things are nice also.
Yeah, which ones you
No
get?
grids though. It's the just grass mat, whatever it was.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one Eric has. I got the blasted one, the one with the.
Oh yeah, yeah, those are nice too.
Yeah, so that I wanted to get. I thought about getting the city one for 40K, but this one could be good for Kings of War and 40K, and we also play Wild West Exodus. So
Oh yeah, you can use it for everything.
for all that, I want to figure out how to make a grid to put on it.
Well, that's the thing with the that Games and Gears Battleboard set. They came with it's like a clear sheet that it's in 2x2 squares. That has the grid on it, but it's clear, so you just put them on top of any mat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're waiting for those though. So we'll see how they are when they come out. So we're hoping to get those a lot earlier because we would have used all these other mats we have.
Right.
That's the way to do it. You have to get like acetate with it would make your whole board shiny though. That's
the only thing that like that's like the Mars mats. They're not shiny at all, or
they're a little bit, but not really. They're like if you ever had like a banner for like business, like those banners you get in like. That's the same material. It's like that vinyl kind of material.
Oh, okay, all right.
They're really not, the thing is, in those you can mark on them and then wipe them off. You could draw a grid on them if you wanted to.
Really? Oh, okay.
Because this dry erase would work great on them.
Because I was thinking of I wanted to get the one, the black one, the lava one, and make all the scenery with foam and make it rocky to make it like a Forge Father type deal.
That'd be cool.
We were going to do like a whole thing where the Asterians and the Forge Father were fighting on that inside of Forge Father, mining or whatever, kind of do like, they've raided the Forge Father temple. Let's get, let's get it. And, I was going to do that, but then, I didn't know about the grid, but I figured maybe in January or February, just get one of those. And,
they're reasonably priced too. The prices are really good.
Yeah. Yeah. But you had to see, because Eric did the Kickstarter and got all of the scenery that they were offering, and it's not bad. I was gonna get. I have so much 40K stuff. The other one was like a graveyard, and
that's cool.
The third set was Old West buildings.
Oh, you could use that for Wild West Exodus.
Exactly. You could use it basically for everything. So I could use it for 40K. For Wild West. So I was thinking of getting that, but then I was like, do I get that or do I get? I figured the fat mat I could get a lot more use out of just with the Kings of War and 40K and and then Warpath if
the fat mat's great for Warpath. That's
what we're waiting on.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Warpath. I'm skeptical because if they're going to go after 40K, it's got to be better than 40K.
Well, I don't think you'll ever be able to beat 40K. People who play 40K play 40K. They don't want a different 40K. They want something different totally, right?
Exactly. If you're going to play a different game, then I want it,
It's not like Fantasy, where Fantasy became bloated and like people liked the fluff, but they didn't like the game so much. That's why Kings of War did okay. And of course, Age of Sigmar really cemented Kings of War.
Well, the funny part was the guy Alessio who wrote Kings of War was one of the original writers for Fantasy.
Yeah.
And he basically said when he wrote Kings of War, this is what I wanted Fantasy to go into. And then GW goes into Age of Sigmar and people hate it.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
And Ron just said, listen, if you want to play Ratman, which is Ratkin, you're more than welcome to come on. Oh, yeah, I don't get by the book. I'm more than happy.
Yeah. And the more people playing, the more books they'll sell, the more models they'll sell.
Right.
Because a lot of people want the official Mantic models. They don't want to use the GW ones particularly.
Well, because if you're going to build a GW army, it's going to cost you $1,500.
Well, that too, yeah.
Right. If for $300 you'll have more than enough of one army.
Yep.
Because I got the dwarf mega thing.
Yeah.
And
I saw that video. That was a good video.
It's a ton of and then I got some stuff over eBay. I have too many dwarfs. Like I look at it and like I want to paint it, but I'm like, oh, where do I start?
Yeah, I learned to speed paint. I got through my Basilians pretty quick because I just was like, I have to paint a lot, so I'm gonna go tabletop standard, like not going crazy, just a lot of washes, and it turned out good.
Yeah, you know what I did too? I did the Brock Riders. I did my Brocks, and it took me forever. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? You gotta
try to make them perfect.
Yeah. But guys, it's been a pleasure. I got to get up in 4 hours.
Okay.
Oh dear. Yeah, same boat.
Yeah, I know it sucks.
Yeah, both of you get some rest.
If I could figure out how to make some money doing this stuff instead of working, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that is the issue.
That's the issue. Right? 9 more years and I'm out. I'm done. 9 more tiring. That's it.
There you go. Have a good one.
So what are they doing to my rules, man? I make 3 hours of videos and then they come out with a thing to change it. You know?
Give you
Slight
3
changes.
hours.
It's like we had the stuff for like what, 8 minutes?
That's why I don't go on the website. I don't go on the forums. I don't go anywhere near it.
Well, it wasn't that. It was on Facebook.
I don't go near Facebook either.
Crazy Talk with Jack and Rob. New podcast.
Crazy Talk with Jack and Rob. What are you missing? Crazy Talk with Jack and Rob. Listen to who they're dissing.
Oh, I thought you were saying kissing.
I've got 3 more verses.
Oh, got a lot more rhyming to do.
Yeah, so you don't bury the lead.
I think. Well, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but
We are.
That's true. Let's save it. Let's save it here. Let's get into the show and then we can talk.
we can't pick it up in post.
It makes me edit harder.
We're doing it live. We're doing it live. Damn it.
Coach, you gone?
No, I'm here.
Oh, you just turned your video off?
No, I'm playing with the webcam.
Oh, I'm seeing pictures. Beautiful
Yeah.
pictures.
And there's my waterfall, and there's where I didn't go, and there's another place I didn't go. They give you these great pictures of it.
Vacation you just never enjoyed.
Right. I'm gonna put this here, Jack. If you gotta go pee, there you go. There's a waterfall.
I'd rather look at the waterfall than Jack making that face. Okay, we're recording again. Jack, you want to bring us back?
Are you sure?
Or are you going to get some more drink?
I was halfway to the kitchen.
Go get your liquid refreshment.
We drinking beer? We drinking bourbon? What are we doing?
I'm drinking water.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited.
You gonna tell me when we're gonna start? Or you gonna bamboozle me like last time? I didn't know I was being recorded.
Oh, we're recording already. Don't worry.
All right.
Oh, there'll be outtakes.
I'll keep my trap shut.
You have been listening to the Deadzone podcast. And now, a word from the fine folks at Vinland Old Time Radio.